Welcome to Weave Along with Elewys. I'm Elewys of Finchingfield. Today we're going to be looking at a piece of weaving from one of the most amazing trading towns in all of medieval Europe. Yes, I'm talking about Birka. Birka, Sweden, which existed from about 750 to 960, so about 200 years of crazy trading. It was a port town just a couple of miles away from where the King of Sweden lived. It had between 700 and 1,000 inhabitants living there. Goods were being brought in from all over the world. They had silk and other exotic fabrics coming from the Far East. They found silver and coins that came from the Middle East. The Arab world was going through its own cultural revolution at the time. They found bone and antler and other furs and skins that came from the far north, way up where the Sami live. In Finland, the north end of Finland, had tons of beads coming in from Eastern Europe. All of these raw materials being brought in from all over the world were being turned into finished products by the local craftsmen. They had blacksmiths, they had weavers, they had comb makers, silversmiths, and all of these things were found in digs throughout Birka. A number of tablet woven goods were found in the graves in Birka. Brocade is a kind of weaving that's much more complex than the kind that we've been doing in the last few videos. It's got a ground of fabric, and then they take metal and weave it into the top layer of the fabric, creating another pattern. It's a beautiful, beautiful technique and creates some amazing patterns, but it's a little too complex for what we're going to be working on. So what a number of tablet weavers have done is taken those motifs and turned them into threaded in patterns. And that's what we're going to be doing today. We're going to be working on one called B12. And this is a very beautiful pattern, and it's surprisingly easy to do. You guys are really going to enjoy this. Now, as I've been doing for the last few videos, I am doing this in the colors of the Laurel Kingdoms of the SCA. So today's is going to be done in the colors of the Middle Kingdom, which is red, white, and green. Grab your loom, and you'll need 17 cards for this one. You can use 2 or 3 colors, whichever you prefer. Just make sure one's a light color and one's a dark color. Grab your loom, and let's get started. All right, my weaving friends, we are ready to start warping up our newest weave, this one being Birca 12. I'm doing mine in the colors for the mid-realm. If you look at the pattern, there's some things that you might want to note. First of all, I included a very fancy but very, very simple border on this one. So it creates kind of a braided effect on the edges. It's very pretty, but it's also very, very simple. It's not something you have to think about or do anything special for. So it's just in the way you warp it. So I've added that just for fun. And when you look at this particular pattern, you'll see in the background, the first 4 picks, the first 4 turns are all forward. And then the next 3 picks, half of them are forward and half of them are backwards. And then they switch. So the ones that were going backwards are now going forwards, and the ones that were going forwards are now going backwards. And that's again for 3 turns. So you should be back at the home position with AD at the top, and then you repeat the pattern back from 1. So it's 1 through 10, and then back to 1 again. I have my 17 cards ready to be warped up. I've got my chosen threads in my Lazy Kate. Again, the Lazy Kate's just made from a cardboard box and 3 dowels that I found kicking around in the garage. And we're ready to warp. So I'm going to set this on the floor because that's the easiest place to use it. I'm going to shift my loom over, put my pattern up here along with my cards. One thing I'm missing, scissors. I've got my scissors. And we're ready to go. Okay, so the first card is red, white, red, white. I've got my tension bar in the furthest position, so that's ready to get warped up. And I'm just going to make a small warp this time. I have a couple of big projects, commissions I'm working on, so I'm just going to make this a small one this time. Take my first card. Again, cards face to the right, and an S card gets threaded through the back or the left side of the card. A is red, and then you alternate. B is white, C is red, and D is white. Now, if you've seen my videos before, you'll notice that I always do a surgeon's knot. So I go twice around and under, and then once around and under. That makes it secure, but it also makes it easier to untie if you make a mistake. And if you saw one of my first videos, I think it was the last one, I did make a mistake. And I had to untie it and retie it. And that's the way it goes. It happens. Second card, Z threaded. Again, face the cards to the right. Z threaded goes through the right side or the front of the card. A is white, and then alternating colors. Twice around, left over right, and then right over left. So it's like a square knot, but with a double wrap the first time. Scoot all your threads back. Oh, not ready for the card yet. Silly me. Now, S threaded, which means through the back of the card, or the right side, red, A, and square knot with a double twist. All right, so the next pair of colors is white and green, which we will continue for the next several cards. Put the red aside. And this will be 2 greens and 2 whites on every card. Welcome back. We are ready to start our weaving. I've got the tension all set up on my loom. Everything's taut. I have the cards set for AD at the top, and I have my shuttle loaded up, ready to go. So, like I always do, I'm going to feed the tail through the shed and turn the cards. Turn everything forward. Remember, this first 4 turns is just to anchor the threads and get all of the warp threads lined up. I pass the shuttle through, and then I pass the tail back through, and this helps anchor the whole thing and keeps it from going unraveled when you're all finished. Turn the cards again. Pass the shuttle. And start tightening it up just a little bit here. What am I doing? Oh, there we go. Turn the cards again. Beat down. Pull tight. Now you're going to start seeing things take shape. Turn the cards. Beat down. Tighten up the loop that you left behind. And pull your thread through. Okay, now we've done a full revolution, so we have AD at the top again, and we can start following our pattern, which starts with 4 forward. So we're going to do the same thing that we did before. Those who are wondering, that's Smokey the cockatiel, who's making an enormous amount of noise. That's 3 and 4. So now we've got AD at the top again. See? AD. Now the next part of our pattern is 1, 2, 3 go forward, and then 4 through 8 go backwards. So I take 4 through 8 and shift them down so I have them separated in the pack. So these go backwards. These go forwards for 3 picks. So that's 1, 2, and 3. There we go. Okay, so you see it's got a white hole in the center and green on the outside. Now what we're going to do is shift those up and take the next 5, 6 cards and slide them down. So cards number 9 through 14 will go backwards, and the rest of the cards will go forwards for 3 picks. There's the first one. Second, and the third. So the cards in the middle, you'll see, have AD back at the top again, but your border cards are off. Well, that's just the way things go. After the next revolution, or the next series, what do you call it? Repeat? Repeat. The next repeat of the pattern, the red cards will be back on the top for the borders. So we've finished that. Now we go back to the beginning of the pattern, 4 turns forward. And 4. So we have AD at the top again. So this is the whole pattern. You just repeat this over and over again. Those 5 cards go backwards, the rest go forwards.